Welcome to the Keiser Report. I'm Max Keiser. As Charlie Brown might have said about the latest in the banking outrage, nothing takes the taste out of peanut butter quite like unrequited fairness. Oh, yeah.
Max, the bankers are just not being fair. Oh! Remember you and I were at Kleptocracy and William Black, the former banking regulator in the United States who put behind bars 1,800 bankers? Well, he got into almost a fist fight, with a verbal fight, certainly, with the Kleptocracy audience who insisted that, in fact, bailing out the banks was their moral obligation, even though he said, no way, it's not your obligation. Well, in this racket, fairness is not an option, and the permanent TSB mortgage scandal is just part of the same dodge as Irish water, writes Gene Kerrigan. So permanent TSB is one of the Irish-owned banks now. The taxpayer owns it. And apparently they are charging 4.5% on variable rate mortgages compared to the EU average of 2.09%, and the fact that they could borrow for 0.05%. And the Irish taxpayers who bailed them out are saying, please, please be fair with us.
No, the Irish taxpayers have no rights. Clearly they have no rights against the monolithic banking establishment, and this whole idea that they had a moral obligation to pay unsecured debts of Anglo-Irish Bank is absurd, because the debts were made in bad faith and they're non-recourse, which means that if you lose out on it, there's no way to defend it, and yet they still got the government to assume all of that debt, and now the bankers have taken on what's called moral hazard. In other words, if you don't apply any kind of standard of law to the banking industry, they take that as a signal to continue breaking the law, as these banks in Ireland are doing. And as a result, people are getting ripped off, quite predictably. There's a housing bubble that's about to burst, and next time when the economy turns down, as it is about to in Ireland, the only difference will be the price of water will be a lot more.
So Gene Kerrigan looks at all the population saying, please be fair to us, please be fair. We're begging the people that we own this bank. Well, he says, get real, folks. The penny should surely have dropped by now. Let's stop pretending that fairness is an option. There are two sides to this, the takers and those who get taken. Variable mortgage holders are being taken. They found their role in life, which is to be suckers. Accept it gracefully, folks, and stop whining. Allow yourself to be fleeced by the bankers, or do something about it.
Right, like do something about it like the country of Iceland has done. They arrested bankers, they put them in jail, they restructured their banking industry. They're going to introduce reserve banking, which is 100% backed up by a stock of 100% cash instead of fractional reserve. Or they're in Greece, they're trying to push back against the ECB and the IMF and the Troika, as it's known. In Ireland, all they did was they swallowed their pride again, and they let a bunch of kleptocrats roll over them again. And, this is the result of what happens when you remove the spine of a country.
Yes. And he goes on to say, the variable mortgage suckers plead for fairness. It won't work. They could try a mortgage boycott, but if there are too few, they'll be hammered mercilessly. If there are many, the bankers might well flinch at an uppity customer base. It sends a chill through the investors. So basically, he's imploring them to all do a mass boycott of this, this mortgage heist, this variable rate mortgage heist.
The boycott was invented in Ireland, but you would never expect any of the modern day Irish to engage in any of that kind of political activism en masse. They're all too greedy. They think that they just can get their little pennies worth at the end of the month in some interest rate scam, and that's enough to get down to the pub and get a pint and drink their troubles away. Unfortunately, en masse, the country's being bankrupted by kleptocrats, and once again, the poor Irish are incapable of defending themselves against a lot of pressures from the outside, and the Republic of Ireland is being shrunk again, this time financially. So pretty soon they're going to be all huddled together on a little rock and a pint of Guinness and some morally obligated bonds that they claim that they must pay, even though the social contract, which is by far the most important contract, was broken, was shattered in 2008. Well, good luck calling up your friends over there at the Leprechaun Academy of gold-finding pots of good luck.
Well, there have been a lot of protests about this Irish water thing, and I just want to note a little bit about it. This is that basically the state itself is starting to charge for it. They're basically putting everybody on a list for which they will then sell it to the private sector eventually. And they're also doing all the repairs, because almost 50% of all the water is actually leaked from the various water pipes at the moment. So they're going to use the huge expense, the taxpayer expense, to fix all these pipes, and then they'll sell it off. But one of the things he notes here, which is remarkable, is meanwhile maintaining its reputation for screwing up every single thing they try to do, Irish Water have sent out a bill to a man they knew was dead. We know they knew he was dead because when they addressed the bill, they carefully typed RIP after his name.
Right, well, that would never stop a kleptocrat from collecting from money from a dead person. If they put some copper pennies on their eyelids and trying to send them across the river Styx, there would be the Irish Water Company stealing those pennies. There's no shame in what the Irish Water Company will do and will continue to do. They're simply there like a parasite, like a tapeworm. They're crawled up the sphinx fang of the Irish people, and they're going to leech out whatever cash that they can, and no one's going to bother doing anything about it.
But that's also the essence of our neoliberal capitalism, is like they will send you bills writing "rest in peace," but give me my money, dude.
Well, there's a chance that there might be a few shekels in the account that can be ripped off, and the Irish Water Company will be happy.